In less than 5 minutes, I'm going to change everything you think you know about how DeFi liquidity should work. I'm about to show you how DeFi liquidity can be more than 50 times more efficient using exponential liquidity. So $1 million in liquidity can have the same effect as 50 million or even more. And exponential liquidity even eliminates impermanent loss in the process. Liquidity is the lifeblood of any trading system. Without ample liquidity, trading becomes less efficient, and the volumes tend to drop because high volumes lead to slippage that only more liquidity can prevent. There are a number of protocols for DeFi liquidity, but they all share a one-to-one pool structure. That means to trade between two different assets like Bitcoin and Ether, you need a pool that contains both assets. If you want to trade Bitcoin to Solana, you need a separate pool and another to trade Ether to Solana. 3 assets requires 3 one-to-one pools. Now, at a fourth asset like Tether, suddenly you need not just one more pool, but 3 more. Tether to Bitcoin, Tether to Ether, Tether to Solana. 4 assets means you need 6 pools. And this grows exponentially. So 5 assets requires 10 pools and 6 assets requires 15 pools. By the time you have 10 assets, you need 45 different pools. And 100 assets, that would require 4,950 one-to-one pools. This is because as the number of tokens rises linearly, the number of relationships between them grows exponentially. In fact, with large amounts of assets, so many pools are needed that most systems don't even create a pool for each possible pair. But that only increases the inefficiency of the system because there isn't a direct pair between Bitcoin and WIF, for example. Then you have to make an additional trade, first trading Bitcoin to Solana and then Solana to WIF. This reduces the total number of liquidity pools needed, but it just creates a different problem for users who now need to do additional transactions. But there's a different way to do this. The EASE protocol introduces a novel approach called exponential liquidity, which is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of 45 one-to-one pools for 10 assets in a traditional system, exponential liquidity only needs 10. That's 4.5 times more efficient. Instead of 4,950 pools to cover 100 assets, you only need 100. That's almost 50 times more efficient. $1 million of liquidity can do the job of 50 million. That's a monumental change in how DeFi will operate. Exponential liquidity can do this by replacing the one-to-one liquidity pools with pools between each asset and a new atomic intermediate token that's common to all pools. So there's exactly one pool for each asset in the system where it's paired to the atomic intermediate token, the AIT. So you would have pools for Bitcoin to the AIT, Ether to the AIT, Solana to the AIT, and Tether to the AIT. 4 assets, 4 pools instead of 6. Add another asset like WIF, and now you need 1 more pool instead of 4 more. When you make a trade, say Bitcoin to Ether, you really do 2 trades, Bitcoin to the AIT and the AIT to Ether. But these are atomic trades, 2 actions that occur atomically in one transaction, atomic meaning impossible to separate. To the system, they're 2 separate trades within one transaction and therefore a single block. But to users, it all just appears to be one trade. That means that users never have to make multiple swaps because every asset is paired to the atomic intermediate token, so any 2 tokens in the system can always be traded directly to each other. And a little added bonus, this can constantly be rebalanced, so the AIT in the system is never unbalanced in pools, causing impermanent loss. Now, every EASE protocol-based layer 1 blockchain can have its own atomic intermediate token that forms the core liquidity asset of the system. People who stake their AIT to the system can earn transaction fees that are used in practically every swap transaction on the chain. On the EASE Hub blockchain, for example, the AIT will be called EASE. It's not a governance token. There's no inflation. It simply provides the lifeblood of the chain's liquidity system, generating trading fees for everyone who stakes their EASE tokens. In other words, there's an actual revenue stream built into the utility of the tokens. Isn't that refreshing? Traders and liquidity providers working in the EASE protocol-based blockchains will get a huge advantage compared to the systems that use traditional one-to-one asset pairs. Liquidity providers can earn more revenue from their staked tokens, revenue that isn't derived from token inflation, and traders get much less slippage than they would in the traditional systems at lower total value locked. This is no far-off dream. We've already built exponential liquidity into the EASE protocol. If you're as excited about exponential liquidity as I am, why not look into other game-changing features of the EASE protocol as well at ease.tech.